Welcome to Can You Hear Me? Because sometimes I can't hear you. Now here is your host, Noah Z.
Hello all, and welcome to the second episode of Can You Hear Me? Because sometimes I can't hear you. I hope all have been well over this month and a half. I can't believe it's already been that long since my first episode. Time is flying by way too dang fast. Just a reminder of who I am and why I started this podcast. My name is Noah Z, and when I was 4 years old, I was diagnosed with hearing loss. I was fitted for hearing aids, and I have worn one in both of my ears ever since. Over time, I have realized that I have a passion for educating other people on hearing loss. This made me realize there is no better way to educate people than starting a podcast. This podcast is about sharing my story, and not just mine. I want to share the stories of other people, and I'm hoping to have interviews with audiologists, educators, and anyone who wants to share their story and how hearing loss has impacted their life. Today, I would like to talk to you all about mental health. But before we get into that, I would like to talk a little bit about the organization called 4-H. 4-H is an organization from children aged 8 to 18. I am currently involved in this organization. I get to have leadership experiences, meet new people, and do a lot of community service. In 4-H, there are projects that you can take to your county fair that can be related to agriculture, home environment, food, and a bunch of other activities. In 4-H, you also get the opportunity to join a club, or you can be independent. I am in a club, and in this club, I got to meet a bunch of new people that are now some of my really close friends, and we get to do a lot of community service projects, which I love doing. Besides community service projects, we also get to make our own projects. And one of the projects I made for the county fair in 2019 was I made a project related to communication. And with this project, I talked about my hearing story. After this project, I started to realize that I love educating people on hearing loss. Thanks to 4-H, I was able to make this podcast. The reason I brought up 4-H and how it is tied with mental health is the 4-H Council, which is like the head of the organization, made an infographic that shares a bunch of interesting facts with mental health in teens. For starters, 7 in 10 teens are experiencing some type of struggle related to mental health. Even before COVID-19, 81% of teens viewed mental health as a significant issue for youth in the U.S. The current crisis has only further magnified this issue. Now, there are some mental health issues that I personally have. 67% of teens pretend to feel better to not worry anyone. I know that I have this issue. When it comes to bringing people down and trying not to make them worry, I hate making people worry and I hate letting people down, so I always hold my feelings in. Another fact, 67% of teens feel pressured to keep them feeling to themselves. I keep my feeling to myself, but what I've realized over time is I need time to process my feelings alone. And then after I process them, I need to talk to somebody about it. And that has really helped me. So if you are someone who struggles with holding in their feelings, talk to someone that you trust, because they will be there for you and they'll be a good listener. It's not that you'll need any good advice. It's just I've noticed that I feel so much better when I just tell someone about it. However, 45% of teens try to ignore their feelings and end up spending more time alone. I know, but that's not very healthy. You need to be able to talk to people. I know it's hard, but I promise you, you will feel so much better after this. Individuals with untreated hearing loss are far more likely to suffer from loneliness and depression. And sadly, they might not even realize it. In my opinion, mental health is something that we need to all learn to be comfortable with talking about, because there are people who struggle with this and they feel like they have no one to talk to about this. But if the United States were to start making mental health more an openly communicated topic, I think so many people will start to realize that they need to share their feelings with others, and in fact, they will actually start becoming more comfortable with sharing their feelings. And if you need someone to talk to, please reach out to me. I will be glad to listen to what you have to say. My email is noahzpodcast@gmail.com. noahzpodcast@gmail.com. I have some exciting news to share with you all. Within the next episode or two, I am planning on having an interview with an audiologist. More details to come later, as I want to keep this a surprise. I would just like to say thank you to everyone who listened today, and I will catch you next time on Can You Hear Me? Because sometimes I can't hear you.